Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes.
After a day of turmoil, Congress making it official overnight, Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for being with us. I'm Sean Mooney. Congress certified President-elect Joe Biden's victory hours after a mob stormed the U.S. Capitol, clashing with police and forcing lawmakers out of Senate and House chambers. News 4 Tucson's Frankie McLister joins us live this morning with the latest developments out of our nation's capital. Good morning, Frankie.
Sean, good morning to you. As we know, just many developments coming out of the U.S. Capitol today. A few of those is, as we know, that one person was shot and killed as well. And in addition to that, many others injured as well. And I believe there were others killed, not at the Capitol itself, but outside on the grounds, just with this entire event taking account yesterday. Now also Congress was able to go, lawmakers were able to go back into the building after being held for about, NBC News is reporting 6 hours or so, and they were able to finish their work after those several tense hours. Yesterday's chaos, as you're seeing right now inside the Capitol, caught on camera as a shot is fired inside the building. Protesters stormed the congressional branch of government, sending senators and representatives fleeing for safety. Protesters breached security and were seen inside the Capitol building, including inside the Senate chamber. We've seen many photos come across social media with those photos as well. And among those responding to the violence is the FBI SWAT team. Authorities say that in addition to the woman who was fatally shot, 13 other people were rushed to the hospital, and 3 of those 13 died. At least 52 people were arrested as of last night. And lawmakers are just vowing into an investigation on how police handled that security breach as of yesterday. We're just going to keep on keeping on with all these developments coming in here at News 4 Tucson, and we'll have updates all throughout 7 a.m. this morning.
Yeah,
So.
And Frankie, really interesting, just astounding that people were able to get past that security there and get right into the chambers. We'll be checking back with you. Thanks.
Right.
Well, President Trump has responded to Congress's certification of Joe Biden as president-elect. He posted a statement to his Facebook page saying, quote, "Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition." He added, "On January 20th, I have always said we would continue our fight to ensure that only legal votes were counted. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, it's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again." And amid the chaos inside and outside the Capitol, some Arizona lawmakers took to social media as they scrambled to safety. Congressman Raul Grijalva and Ruben Gallego reacting to the scary scene unfolding only steps away. Congressman Gallego tweeting, "I am safe, democracy is not. We need National Guard to clear the Capitol so we can continue with our jobs." 9-term Tucson Congressman Raul Grijalva said, "I am safe," and was evacuated to a secure location almost immediately after defending the integrity of Arizona's elections on the House floor. "Thank you for your concerns." And Governor Doug Ducey reacting to the violence as it unfolded as well, saying, "In America, we practice peaceful transitions of power. We respect the law and law enforcement. The scene at the United States Capitol right now is wrong and has no place in our form of government. All should denounce, and it should end now." Once Congress reconvened last night, votes to throw out Arizona's electoral votes failed in both the House and Senate. Pima County Board Chair Sharon Bronson released a statement in response to the rioting at the Capitol. It reads in part, "The bedrock of democracy is the acceptance of the results of a free and fair election and the peaceful transition of power." She goes on to say, "I call on all the members of Arizona's congressional delegation and Pima County residents to condemn today's storming of the Congress in the strongest of terms and support all results, local, state, and national, of the 2020 election." And one of the longest-serving members of the Trump administration and former Tucsonan has resigned following last night's events. Stephanie Grisham, the former White House communications director and press secretary, submitted her letter of resignation for her current position as First Lady Melania Trump's chief of staff. Grisham has served the chief of staff position since April 7th. She had been in a part of the Trump administration since August 2015. And President Trump's Twitter account has been suspended for at least 12 hours after the social media platform removed 3 tweets. In a statement, Twitter saying in part the move was in response to the president's repeated and severe violations of our civic integrity policy. Earlier, President Trump posted a video repeating claims about election fraud but encouraging his supporters to go home after violence erupted at the U.S. Capitol. Here in Arizona, people participated in a Stop the Steal rally and protest at the state capitol in Phoenix. News 4 Tucson's Mark Mangura has reaction from those who took part in it.
Thousands of protesters came to the Capitol for this rally in peaceful protest of the certification of Electoral College votes. Those we spoke to were not in support of the violence in Washington, D.C.
As people stormed the Capitol in Washington, D.C., government property was vandalized and members of Congress were forced to shelter inside the building to stay safe. In Arizona, it was a very different atmosphere. Some citizens were heavily armed, exercising their First Amendment right, and no violence occurred during the demonstration. When asked why they came out, the response was geared towards what they call an unfair presidential election.
I'm here today because I believe that the election was fraudulently passed.
This was a Trump landslide victory, that Trump people are not Nazis, as you can see by the hat I'm wearing.
Once the Arizona vote objection failed, all the protesters went home. We've got you covered from the state capitol. I'm Mark Mangura, News 4 Tucson.